Hey, we're at 20.
Wow, look at all these people.
Hey, Ginger.
Hi.
I know most of these people.
Okay.
Fun.
So
Our Wednesday wine meeting, right, Ginger?
Yeah.
I'm going to mute everyone and we're going to get started, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to be hard.
Okay, so I unmuted Eric and myself. Welcome everyone to the first Bistro 45 virtual wine tasting. I'm Nicole Musgrove with the Ponderosa Center, and we are really excited to have you all here. So I'm going to let Eric and Marissa take it away, and we'll have a good time. Cheers, everybody.
All right. Well,
All you.
I guess, oh wait, we don't need these, do we? Okay. All right. So guys, welcome to Bistro 45's first virtual wine tasting. This kind of started off in a couple unique ways. Marissa and I started talking about the idea of a virtual wine tasting a few days before Nicole gave us a call and said, hey, can Bistro do a virtual wine tasting? And it's like, well, imagine that. We just started talking about that. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Ponderosa Center, for putting this all together. So we're grouping up with the Ponderosa Center and Nicole, Marissa from BRJ, and obviously Bistro 45. So Emily and myself and our staff have all worked quite hard to kind of put this all together. Marissa works for BRJ, but she's also, as everybody knows, she works here at Bistro and has for many years. So this is just kind of, I guess, the next step in our virtual world. So now we're online and drinking. So this is awesome. We do kind of run an open forum. So if you do want to speak, just I think you either contact Nicole, hit chat, or just unmute and you're able to talk. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm just keeping everyone on mute so it cuts down on the noise while Eric and Marissa are going through the presentation. But if you have a question, just wave your hand and take it off mute and go ahead and ask, because I think that'll add to their presentation to get some questions sort of throughout the whole
Great.
thing.
Well, let's start with the basics. Everybody needs to have their wine.
Their first wine, which is going to be the Chardonnay.
Does everybody know how to open a bottle of wine? Do we have any issues? I don't think so, not with this group.
Think we'll be good to go.
And you need a glass. So let's start there. We also have the printout that everybody should have gotten in their box, except for Marissa's parents. I don't think we had one of those for you. We can take a picture and send it to them.
Yeah, I'll send you guys a picture. It's just
The list of Wente wines.
The list of Wente wines that we have available, as well as a little space in between the ones we're tasting, so you can write tasting notes down. It looks like that, but
We'll get one of those to you.
yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things we chose to do for this first one was to do one winemaker. And we picked Wente. Wente is out of Livermore Valley, kind of one of my favorite spots as far as wine tasting, just south of Napa Valley. So really, really fun group of wines. We picked the Chardonnay, the Merlot, and the Cab. That's what you all went home with, and that's what we're going to taste. Marissa's going to run through some history with Wente and talk about each of the wines as we taste and eat some food.
Perfect.
If you have questions, open it up. We're always open for questions. Again, I really want to say thank you to Nicole. You put a lot of work into this. We're really excited for this, and I really don't want this to be our one and only time to do this. So I want to thank everybody that joined in. This was awesome support for Bistro, support for local businesses, and honestly, it's just uplifting for us. It's been a long few weeks for a lot of people, and to be able to figure something out and come together and do something like this on a social side and as a business side, this is just a lot of fun and really exciting. So thank you to Marissa and BRJ. Thank you again, Nicole. I'm going to kind of hand some of this over to Marissa so we can start drinking some wine.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Eric. again, yes, thank you to all of you for doing this. This is going to be really fun. So, just want to reiterate as well, yes, we are opening 3 bottles of wine tonight. No judgment. If you want to drink all 3 of them tonight, we will not judge you, I promise on that. However, if you do not, these wines will keep, so don't worry about that. Our goal here today is just to get you to know Wente Vineyards as a whole, as well as what their Chardonnay, what their Merlot, and what their Cabernet tastes like. So we're going to taste them all tonight, and if you don't finish the bottles, then go ahead, cork them. They will last. The reds, 3 to 4 days. The white, you keep cold, you're looking at 5 days max. So you've got a little time here to drink these wines, so don't worry. So really quick, go ahead and pour yourself either a taste or a full glass, whatever you want, of the Wente Riva Ranch Chardonnay. So before I talk particularly about this Chardonnay, I'm going to talk about Wente's history a little bit here. So Wente was founded back in 1883. Wente Vineyards is currently the oldest continuously operated family-owned winery in the country. So they are a 5th-year generation family-owned winery, which right now is, again, like I said, continuously operated largest in the country, which is very cool. The wines are 100% estate grown, as well as 100% sustainably farmed in Livermore Valley. So essentially, they are considered to be certified organic wines, which is fantastic. They're doing everything they can on their side to grow sustainably wines, which is awesome. Sorry, it's distracting. The winery is currently owned and managed by 4th and 5th generation of Wente family. And back in 2011, they were voted by wine enthusiasts the American Winery of the Year. And since then, they have been continuously creating wines, award-winning wines, including the 3 that we're about to taste today. So the Chard, the Cab, and the Merlot were all awarded 90 points on Wine Enthusiasts this year. So very exciting. So let's start with the River Ranch. So the River Ranch Chardonnay, which you're all about to taste and smell and try, is sourced exclusively from their River Ranch vineyard, which is located in their Monterey County. So I did mention Livermore is where their reds come from. They do have a vineyard out in Monterey, which is just a little bit more down south from Livermore. So their appellation there, you've got Livermore here, you've got the Monterey appellation down here, and that is where this Chardonnay comes from, which is great for them because this area is regarded as one of the best places in California to grow the Chardonnay grape. This is due to the long, cool growing season that they have there. The gravel soil there really helps ripen that Chardonnay grape. So giving it a perfect balance of sugar and acidity, which I'm hoping you're getting a little out of. When you first smell this wine, you might get a lot of aromas of oak. And that is because 90% of this is barrel fermented. It's in a combination of 60% new and 40% second use French and American oak. And then there's about 10% stainless steel fermentation in there as well. So this is why this wine in particular opens up with a very bold, big, oaky smell, little oak up front, but ends with some tropical fruits, little tropical notes on the back. And that's the stainless steel coming in as well. So they wanted to preserve the fruit on this Chardonnay grape as well. So feel free to smell and taste with different foods that we've provided for you. I'd love for any feedback at this moment. So if you want to unmute yourself and tell me what you think, or if you have any questions so far, please let me know.
This is really good. I really like the Chardonnay. Eric, you need like a file for all of us that tell you, wow, I really like this. So when we come in next time, you'll know what it is.
Yeah, it's great. This is really good. Thanks.
That's something we can always do is keep those notes, and that's what those sheets are for. Something to always hang on to when you're done taking notes. Something that's really fun that I always recommend, especially with notes or your bottle label, is when you find something you like, use those cell phones and take a picture.
You might get tired of my pictures, Eric.
It doesn't bother me one bit. We get them all the time. And Renee, I'm looking into yours.
Yeah, pictures are great, and that's why we sent out the tasting sheet to go along with it. So you can write notes, or if you absolutely do love it, you've got the price there. We're accepting orders, any of that. But we agree. This is, I think, a fantastic Chardonnay. I'm not typically a Chardonnay fan, I won't lie. So this is one that I love. It's not a butterball. It's just great.
I'm with
Thank you, Jim.
Marissa.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to see all those notes, but I'll start writing some of this down.
I think this is better than like the Kendall Jackson Chardonnay. It's more. I like the more. It
has a good acidity.
Acidity, because I was going to say bitter, but acidity is better.
Yeah,
I like that, and a Chardonnay. So
absolutely.
I like this.
Agree. Good.
I like
I'm glad.
I like it, and I'm not a big Chardonnay person.
Yeah, same on my end, but I think you can tell it's been well grown. You know, you get the climate, you get the soil right out of it. It's fantastic with that balance of sugar and acidity, not overwhelming. I hope you all tried it. I'm excited with our appetizer plate we put together. We didn't want it to necessarily say, okay, you have to try this wine with this cheese. We almost wanted it to be try and mix around with all the wines with the cheeses and see what changes the flavor, what you end up liking best. So I'm excited to hear your feedback on all that as well. But, you know, try an olive with the Chardonnay, see what it does. It can totally change the flavor, which is the exciting thing about wine.
Is it the provolone?
No, that's a, so obviously we did the brie, and you can do that warm or cold. The other cheese is a smoked Gouda. Then we have
good.
hard salami.
It's good.
A
It's
mixture
good with the
of olive
Chardonnay.
and the crackers. Just kind of figured that'd be a fun mix. You know, a lot of people, as we sit on the patio during the summer, our goat cheese tapenade is one of our popular menu items, and that those olives just light up red wine and white wine. So I kind of figured this would be a fun little mix. Also, Nicole, just want to let you know, we've got one other person that we messed up their email. I already forwarded it to them. They're going to be trying to get on right now.
Who?
Nicole.
Oh,
So Marissa,
Yeah.
does this,
There they are.
they have
I just want to hop on.
or do they have different tiers for these wines?
Yes, they do. So this is, I guess you'd say their middle class Chardonnay, I would put it. On your tasting sheet I gave you, I did at the bottom, there's other Wente wines that I have personally in our BRJ
Yes.
portfolio. So you can see there's their Morning Fog Chardonnay, which is just their more lower end, their traditional. And then you've got a couple of their higher ends, but this is, so there's clones. In fact, Wente has become known for their Chardonnay in particular. So I have to double check my numbers on this, but I want to say it was about 176 wineries are using clones of Wente's Chardonnay grape in their own productions, which is very, very cool. So yeah, they're well known for their Chardonnays.
And Kendall Jackson is one of them.
Oh, well, there you go. I guess Kendall Jackson is one of them, which I did not know. So, Kat, that makes sense. You like this more, though, because it was the first baby. Any more questions on the Chardonnay, or do I need a recap for our new joiners?
I just.
Go now?
Yeah, you can talk. No, this is really good, Marissa. I like it.
Yeah. What do you want to say? Yeah,
Let me-
Rick, go ahead.
I
Yeah.
know it is.
Hey, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about people who don't like Chardonnay because of the buttery butter bombs that they normally have. This is exactly what we like in a Chardonnay, and it's balanced. It's got that acidity. It's not over the top.
Absolutely.
It's very well balanced. So for a Chardonnay, we drink this anytime, and we're not big Chardonnay drinkers. So
Right. And you know what's interesting is this wine also, they, Wente themselves have said they would pair it with movie theater butter popcorn. So sitting at home watching a movie, you want to pop some popcorn. And I actually, when I first thought about it, I was like, a Chardonnay with popcorn, that seems overwhelming. But now it makes sense because this isn't overwhelmingly buttery. So you kind of add that salt to that, and that could be an interesting combo you can try. So tonight, watch a movie, pop some popcorn, see what it tastes like.
If only we had someone to serve it to us, Marissa.
Yeah.
If only. You have to do that yourselves. This is virtual.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, did you get my note?
I did, Jim.
Thank you.
Not a problem. We'll get that going.
Yeah, I'll give a similar comment. I'm not a big Chardonnay person at all.
He's a zero Chardonnay person.
Yeah, but this is this gets my attention. Really nice selection tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I think Rick made a great comment when it comes to, so many people utilize that term as a butter bomb, and this has extremely good balance. I actually love the temperature. Our bottle of Chardonnay that we're sipping on right now has been out of the refrigerator for 30 minutes. And I love the temperature that it's at. It's not super cold. So we're able to pull a lot of those flavors out that sometimes you don't get when it's 28 degrees. And that's kind of something I do with most of our whites is I try to let those sit for 15, 20 minutes out of the refrigerator, and it lightens up a lot of those flavors, really kind of accentuates what you're trying to get out of it.
Yeah, most winemakers prefer you to drink whites at a room temperature or a little colder than room temperature, just because you do get a little more appreciation of the fruit and the fermentation and the process they went into to making you taste the flavors that you taste. Although I'm not gonna lie, I'm a person in the summer, I want my whites, I want my rosés as cold as possible. But for the sake of tasting, yeah, it's great to let it sit, and maybe after we've tasted the reds, you want to go back and try it after it's cooled off or warmed up a little. That'd be great too. You can taste the difference in the wine, which is, again, the unique thing about wine is it changes composition and temperature and with foods, and that's the exciting part about it. So, all right. How's everyone doing on there? Should we move on to the next, or are we all still sipping?
We're sipping a little. You guys are really good at picking wines, and I'm really glad that we're friends with you. You're good people to be friends with.
Thank you.
We've all been unmuted.
We're thoroughly enjoying ourselves.
Oh.
Good. I hope so. I really do.
I've also found that, actually, Marissa, that all wines under quarantine taste pretty darn good. My finding.
Amen. I'll drink to that.
Been drinking a lot
I
of
think
Riffle.
even better.
Oh,
Just
that's
seeing
funny.
people's faces, that's better
That's
than
exactly
the
what
wine.
my husband
How much
said.
wine have you had?
He's like any wine's gonna taste like, yeah, no, but this is excellent. I
That's
don't
very good.
like Chardonnays, but I do like that this is sweet. I do love this Chardonnay. I'm not gonna lie.
Great. It's a great summer wine too, which coming into, as all of us up here in McCall, I know we have a few people out of state, but we're ready for the warm weather and we're ready for the sun to come out. And this wine, although I'm not a Chardonnay drinker, I would drink on the patio or by the dock. I mean, it would just be great.
Well, like you mentioned, all wines taste good during quarantine. That was actually one of the serious questions we had was, is 6 o'clock going to be too late to do this?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, it was too late.
It would have been better.
You didn't think we started before you did?
Yeah, it's not just for breakfast anymore.
There
There
you go.
Bar was hammered.
Sorry, I apologize for him.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll go ahead and move on to the, everyone seems ready.
So the Merlot is actually the third one on the list. We kind of, after opening them up and tasting them ourselves, we switched it up and we're going from the Chardonnay to the Merlot.
Yeah, so ignore the tasting sheet on that end, just switch them around. Merlot first before Cab. Do you want to? I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, and while too, I mean, go ahead and give yourself a palate cleanser in between these.
So Wente Merlot.
I'll pour some water for you. I'm good.
Right, so the Wente Merlot is
They saw that, did they?
I don't think so. So it's an estate-grown Merlot grape. Although I will tell you, it's not 100% a varietal of Merlot. It is Merlot with 15% Petite Sirah and 7% Malbec. So keep that in mind when you are tasting these. But this is great because, again, as I mentioned, the Merlot grape, the 78%, is the estate grown, which runs along the southeastern hills of Livermore Valley, which with their very warm days and their cool nights, their sandstone soils, which if you see on the Wente bottle, it says sandstone Merlot. That is derivative of the appellation where the soil where it comes from. So the sandstone soils and the morning breezes from the sandstone.
My.
They all come in to just formulate this amazing, beautiful Merlot that has notes of fig, pomegranate, just keeps it very berry with some spice to it. So the varietals themselves were all actually fermented separately in stainless steel tanks and then aged together for 24 months in French, Eastern European, and neutral oak barrels. So you get a little oak on there, but you keep it, you know, the fruit, the vibrancy of the fruit is there. You just really can smell it all in there. This is kind of big for Wente. Again, I told you that all these wines got 90 points on Wine Enthusiast, not Wine Spectator, Wine Enthusiast. But the Wente family Hillside Vineyard is ideal for growing this Merlot grape, as well as other Bordeaux style grapes. But just, again, smell what you can, taste what you can out of it. I don't want to tell you what you're tasting or what you're smelling, but I will say that this Merlot in particular gives a very, very fantastic sense of fruit, spice, fig, pomegranate. I mean, all these new big flavors in there. That's really, really fun and exciting.
You know, what's really nice about it is that it doesn't have a lot of it's not really hard on the after. It's super smooth all the way down. It's
right, the alcohol's not overwhelming, and
no, it's super smooth all the way down for Merlot, honey. Oh, this is amazing. I'm picky.
I know. I'm glad you like it.
This is awesome. Okay, smell it.
So
I've got my taste tester here.
Most people are on here that are long-time bistro fans. Yeah. And one thing that I fell in love with as a bistro customer was the way Kit would explain tasting a wine. And he would always say that he always says, the wine is a personal preference. Everybody's going to get different flavors out of the wine. From whatever you've recently eaten, you brushed your teeth. For Carrie, who always comes in chewing gum and then wants to taste wine, you're always going to have different flavors. So always pick a fruit, pick 3 fruits, pick something that's going to make you remember something special about that wine. And next time you taste something close, you might actually go, oh, wow, this seems like a Merlot. I remember these flavors. And your mind starts linking to certain flavors. Again, it's personal preference. That's where I love the way Marissa's doing this is it's not telling you what you should be getting out of this. It's your job to pull out what you want out of the wine. Yeah.
Yes, wine is very subjective, and again, you know, it's what you're eating with it. It's changing up. That's why our little app plate we provided with its kit is great, because you can try the different cheeses and the meats and the olives with the wine, see how it changes the composition of the wine. I mean, wine is so subjective, and we love wine for that exact reason. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but everyone can find something about it they either like or dislike. So I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on maybe what you're getting out of this wine or what you've tried it with so far.
Marissa, what did you say? It's a blend. It has a little bit of a blend in it, right?
Yes. So it's 78% Merlot and then 19% Petite Sirah.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard.
And 3% Petite Verdot. Yeah. And you like Petite Sirah because of the flair. Mm-hmm.
And La Fleur. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Which, yeah, ironically, they're around the same area, and that is what produces fantastic Petite Sirah grapes because of the climate and the soil.
Absolutely.
So, very
Hey,
fun.
Eric and Marissa, you know what I like about this as well is, again, we talked about oak and the Chardonnay being subdued. This is the same thing. It's very, very subtle on the oak. maybe the way they blend the oak barrels or whatever, they have a way of getting that oak characteristic to come through without having flavor. And I really, I'm not a big fan of big oak.
And toast it.
This is very subtle. I like that a lot.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, I agree too. I think so. So again, yeah, they do. So each of the varietal they take in the fermentation process, and the skins are left on through that whole process and then pressed afterwards. But they're stainless steel, separated, and then put together 24 months in that French, Northern European, and American oak, I believe I said. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the combination of the oak. It's 24 months, which isn't terribly long. I mean, after being stainless steel fermented and then put into this oak, so you do get that combination of a little bit of oak, not overwhelming, with the stainless steel, so you get that fruit vibrancy and that blackberry, and again, whatever you want to get out of that fruit is fantastic. So I agree. I like that there's not too much oak on it, but just enough that you can taste it.
And you mentioned they use neutral oak too, so that's you can sense that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that oak flavor to come through. So that neutral oak imparts a nice characteristic, but not with the oaky flavor. So that's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think they do this wine absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's Merlots are, you know, we all saw, what was it, Sideways, that turned Merlots. Yeah, that turned Merlots out into the world forever for a long time. Anyways, I don't know if anyone knew that, but the movie Sideways actually brought down Merlot sales for quite a few years.
By 70%.
Yeah, about 70%. So Merlots are just now making a comeback in the last few years. So I believe this is a 2016.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, you need to.
Merlot we're tasting. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's like a huge hit.
That movie, there's actually a video put out about Merlots, and there's a good 20-minute segment in there talking about how that movie actually almost destroyed the Merlot wine market.
I have a question.
Merlots are coming back, and
Hello.
You know, there's some. What?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've been trying to ask a question.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're selling it as a Merlot when it's a blend, how do they get away with that? I mean, why doesn't it tell us exactly what's in it?
Each state has a percentage. So if it's above, I mean, what's California, I want to say?
It's a certain percentage, and every state has a different basically ruling
I don't know
on the
California's
percentage.
total state.
I believe it has to be more than 75%
Yeah.
of the original grape, and
Oh.
it's considered a Merlot or a Cab. And those blends, even though it technically is a blend, this is a Merlot. They're using those blends to
Enhance a little flavor.
enhance flavor.
No, I love it. I think it's wonderful. I was just curious.
Yeah. It's
Thanks for the
interesting
education.
because, yeah, it's actually very interesting. A lot of wines you see over, unless you look into them, know the grapes that are in them, because like you said, I believe it is 75% to be called its varietal, the true varietal. So yeah, 78% Merlot is what's in this particular wine. Pretty typical of most wines. If it's almost 100%, they'll actually be honest about that and tell you this is 100%, because that's almost unique. Which is awesome. But I think that adding a little extra varietal, especially when they have the soil and they have, you know, the climate, and they have the right area where they're growing these grapes, like the Petit Syrah and the Petit Verdot that are in this, it just makes this wine, I mean, it just enhances it so much more. So, but just by a little bit, because it's, you know.
Oh, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And thank you
No,
for the
it's a very
education.
good question.
I'm going to talk on a little bit too, but Nicole, are you still on?
Yeah, Molly and Chris.
Of course I am.
Molly and Chris are trying to get on, and it's saying what? Host
Needs to accept them.
All right.
host needs to accept.
I did not see the button flashing. They're coming in now.
Okay, you're coming in right now. She's letting you in.
Sorry about that. I got caught up in what was going on.
Hi, Molly. Hi, Chris.
Does this winery have a tasting room down in Livermore Valley.
They do. Wente has an awesome tasting room. In fact, they were one of the first California vineyards to open as a restaurant. They were one of the third California vineyards to open with a restaurant included. They also have a golf course. So yes, they are currently not open due to COVID, but yes, they do normally have a fantastic tasting room down there.
So Livermore is also very famous for a very large wine festival that they do in May, which obviously is probably not going to happen this year. Emily and I have actually been to the Livermore Wine Festival for a few years. Absolutely amazing. Tons of wineries. You hop on a bus, you go hit up. I think it's over 40 wineries in a small area. Works out really well. Diana, I want to get back to you also on the blend. When you were talking about, even though it's a Merlot, it's still technically a blend. You can also find like 100% Merlot or 100% Cabernet blends, which are actually it's 100% Cabernet, but the grapes can come from different vineyards or different areas, and they blend all those together to make 100% Cab or 100% Merlot or Syrah, whatever direction. But those technically would be considered a blend, but it's 100% Cab or whatever varietal it is. Just the grapes are coming from different vineyards.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah, no, that was a great question. And, you know, it's funny, when I was going through this, I almost questioned. I was like, I don't want to confuse people by putting in the blend, but it's good to do, and it's good to question it.
Glad you did.
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked, because not a lot of people, know or understand that. So it's great. I'm glad you asked that question. And yeah, there's definitely different percentages for every state. So some of them, if it's 50% of the varietal, they don't have to include anything else. I know California and Idaho, I want to say, is 75%. Those are the only two I know on certain, so I'm not going to say something I don't know. But 75% in Idaho and California is usually what you're going to get for that.
So
if I wanted to buy a wine,
typically on something that you would, I don't know if this is going to come through or not. Looks like it's too light. Typically,
yeah.
Quinto Rey.
You might be able to see there where it shows the blend, where there's 65%
Tempranillo,
64% Tempranillo. This isn't one of the bottles you're drinking now. This is just one from off our shelf. But a blend will typically show the percentages and the blend that's on the bottle, that's in the wine.
So I just have one more question, if you'll indulge me.
Absolutely.
If I wanted something that tasted just like this, I would have to buy this. Is that correct? Because I would never know whatever else might have been in it to make it taste this special way.
Well, that's what makes every wine different and every wine special.
So that's, if you like the taste of this wine, yes. I mean, honestly, for the price of this wine too, and everything, this is a fantastic Merlot. Merlots all do taste very differently. I particularly, I love, I'm just trying to look at that chat.
Open what?
I love Merlots, but they all do have their own,
This is quite light for a Merlot. This is quite real fruity and not a lot of tannins.
Like you said.
Because of the oak thing, that's why, that must be the time it spends in the oak. A lot of Merlots will just, they're full, they're big, they're tanniny.
Right. Sorry, I was reading a little chat just from
Lori
Benducci, who actually is a very good personal friend of Caroline Wente, who we were hoping to get on, but she's a busy lady. But she was just reiterating that, yes, in California, the law is 75% for the main grape to call it that varietal. And then a lot of the producers use small amounts of Malbec, Petit Verdot, and Merlot or other Bordeaux varietals to their cabs just to firm it up. So same thing with, so they're just, like we said, they're 75% and they're just using it as a filler. But if you love this wine, I would take it. Just to say though, if you don't, you can always look up a wine. They're pretty honest. I mean, the majority of wineries will tell you. So if you wanted to look up another Merlot, look it up on their winery online website, and hopefully they will show you the varietals. But if you love this wine, I mean,
And also, there's also sites that rate wines like wine.com that if you type in almost any wine out there, you type it in, and not only do they give you tasting notes, but they break down, they'll show what the varietals are, what the years are they really available anymore, if the winemaker's still in business. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that out there that it's very easy to hop on our phone. Remember when our teachers said we would never have a calculator with us all the time? You can hop on your phone and pretty much find out whatever you want real quick.
I was in school before there was even calculators. So my teacher never said that. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I understand a lot more.
Hey, Eric and Marissa, one thing too is what you mentioned before, Marissa, that it's family owned, 5 generations.
Yes.
Cool to have a winery that has been in the family for 5 generations. They decide what wine they're going to make. This is a decision that says we need to cater to what people in the mass consumer wants. We're going to do what we think is correct.
More of them.
That they have and the blending that they do, that's a pretty cool thing to have. That uniqueness that they can.
It is.
They want to do because they own their process. And again, in this climate and environment of corporate ownership and everything, not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just nice to have a family-owned winery that can dictate exactly the kind of wines that they're going to put out.
Precisely. Yeah.
Some people might not.
Marissa? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Renee just texted me and she said, can you talk to Nicole and let her back in, let Renee back in?
Oh, Nicole, can you let Renee back in?
Oh, I forgot she was there, but sorry.
So I'll just jump in about the family nature of the wineries. So
we got it.
Carolyn Wente does the business side of it, and her brother Eric is the vintner, and her brother Phil is the winemaker. And it's a pretty cool situation where it's still most definitely in the family.
Right.
Great.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Lori.
I know when I was, I love Wente. I started with BRJ about a year ago, but Wente is fantastic because they are this family-oriented, family generation-owned winery, like Rick was saying, like Lori's been saying. Again, what I said in the beginning, they were founded back in 1883. That's where the first generation started, which is amazing. And then they are right now the oldest vineyard to continue a family generated or family generation operated and owned winery, which is amazing. So they have their decisions. They can do what they want. They've got their clones. They've got their vineyards. They've got their set sites. I mean, it's fantastic what they can do. And also interesting enough, as Lori mentioned, Caroline now she's more on the business side, but was a winemaker, 4th generation winemaker. From what I understood, these wines that we're tasting today, so the Chard, the River Ranch Chard, the Sandstone Cab, and the Sandstone Merlot were all created on the winemaker of Carl Wente, which would, again, be another 4th generation family of the Wente family. So just really, really cool that this is all stayed within the family and stayed within the same vineyard. And like Rick said, like Lori said, they can do what they want, and they're just, they're all there. And Lori, you can chime in on more on the family side of it, because I'm sure you know, but that's really, really, really unique. So.
Yeah, it's just been really important to them. And so now they're trying to pass it on because Carolyn and Phil and Eric, they're all in their 60s plus. And so they're now bringing their kids in to
are there kids coming in and being involved as well, or are they?
They are, but yeah, they are.
Cool.
It'll just be interesting to see if they come in at the level that because with with Phil and Eric and Carolyn, they came in and took different aspects of the business very clearly. So it'll be interesting to see what this next generation does, but absolutely they're involved in the business.
Good.
Yeah, so it was Abby and Carly, or Abby and Carly, the youngest fifth generation right now that are still a part of it, which is awesome. So they're still going strong, and that's, I think, really a cool thing. But so Carl Wente is the one who was the winemaker of these three particular wines, from what I understand. Do you? Okay, so he is, but I was just wondering if Caroline's siblings, so it was Phil was her brother.
Eric.
Phil, Eric, and Caroline. And so Carl was Caroline's dad. Carl was Phil and Eric and Caroline.
Yeah, Carl with the K. Carl.
K-A-R-L,
Yeah.
right.
The youngest Carl, the fourth generation Carl. So that must be, because he's the one who comes up and sees us up in McCall every now and then. So does some wine dinners, or has in the past, which has been really cool. But so it's nice to have all the same winemaker, or same wines by the same winemaker. And again, all of these by the same family. Very, very unique. So anybody have any more questions on the Merlot, or want to share their tastes before we move on to the Cab?
Very nice blend. Very, very nice. Love it.
Love it. It's good. Really good.
Great. Okay. Well, then let's go ahead and go on to the Cab. If you're not finished with your glass of Merlot, you can just pour another glass of Cab. You have plenty of time to drink all these later on. That is.
I need to get another glass.
Okay, so the Wente Cab, which is, if you look on your label, it says Southern Hills Cabernet Sauvignon, which is named for their vineyard, which is located along the southern hills of Livermore Valley. So the Wente family farms has approximately 400 acres of Cabernet Sauvignon grown. Awesome. They're very well known for this, their Cab in particular. Livermore Valley has a very unique east-west orientation, which is just full of well-drained rocky soil and very unique climates. Again, those cool breezes coming in from San Francisco Bay, and you get those just warm days, cool nights, all of that. The Southern Hills are located in the most desirable locations, settings with exposures that are ideal for growing the Cabernet Sauvignon with the depth and intensity that you want in a Cab. So you want it to be bold, you want it to be tannic, and that's what this soil and these hills produce for that reason. So it's fantastic. This is another mini blend there. So we've got 78% Cab. So it is their estate-grown Cab mainly, but they have added, just to, again, grow a little intensity in there, a little bit more cushion, 19% Petite Syrah and 3% Petite Verdot. So same as the Merlot, these varietals are fermented separately in their stainless steel tanks, and then they are aged together, but only in 16 months combination of French, American, and neutral oak barrels. So this way, again, you're getting a little bit of that oak, you're still getting a lot of that fruit coming forward, which in a Cab Sauv grape you want. You want to keep the sustainability of the fruit, the vibrancy of the fruit, you want that. And that's what you're getting out of this with the stainless steel, but also a little bit of oak on it. So you're getting that big, bold, very smooth, tannic, low acidity, beautiful, beautiful Cab. I don't know what you want to smell, what you want to taste with it, but you know, when I did it, I got ripe dark berries and baking spices and just very smooth tannins. Goes great with barbecue, goes great with, of course, our cheese and meat platter we put together for you, but taste it, smell it.
So Lori did just send out a nice little note to us, which I didn't notice when I researched Wente, but there's actually two Carls along with the Wente family.
Yeah.
There's a third generation, which is Carl Sr., and then fifth generation Carl, which is the current winemaker. Thank you, Lori. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
and Jim,
so
thank you for the nice note.
the fifth generation Carl Wente, who is derivative of the original Carl Wente, has the winemaker of these three particular wines.
I have a quick question. How will this lay down? If we decided to get a case and just put it down for a few years, how will this do if you lay it down?
The Cabernet specifically?
The Cabernet specifically.
I think, honestly, I think either one of these, the Merlot or the Cab, I think these are going to sit for quite a while.
I'd say on the Cab, you got, 5 years.
At least.
At least would be a fantastic age.
Can I make a prediction? You'll drink the whole case before it's aged correctly.
Right. That's the hard part.
Sir, that is true.
Wait, how does this guy know us?
I think I owe you money or something. I don't know.
I mean, something that Christy also like, I mean, you look at on the bottom of the wine tasting list where you've got the Westmore Cab, which is a little on the higher end side. You have their Pinot. I'm sure those would age just as well. I personally think this cab could easily sit for 10 years if stored properly. When we did pull the cork, the cork did seem a little dry. I definitely think they need to lay down. Would be my suggestion if this is something you want to go for. But again, at the same time,
I think it's tasting great now, but it would do really good with some age.
but man, a case of wine, man, that's 365 days in a year. A case of wine doesn't last long with our family.
Well, the problem is really, Eric, in 10 years, I won't remember where the hell I put it. I drink it pretty soon.
We want to let everyone know that we added cheesecake to our tasting plate, chocolate cheesecake, and it's really good.
Oh, nice.
All right, tell me where you're at, Nicole. I'm headed that way.
Having cheesecake.
No way, Sherry. No way.
You're having cheesecake?
We did raspberries on grape-free.
Ooh, nice.
With some sourdough bread that Renee made.
Oh,
I heard Renee made some special bread today.
It was really good.
Oh, I can't say that nowadays, huh? I said bread, not brownies.
Right, special bread.
So Marissa, I have a question for you then. Because
did you put your pants on, Bar?
Marissa, so it seems to me that these folks are growing some really nice grapes and letting the grapes speak for themselves more than the oak. Does that make sense? Did you hear me?
Well, kind of. I heard the grapes.
Carrie was goofing off over in the corner.
I know.
Carrie was goofing off again.
So can
what
you
I'm saying, what I said was their grapes are really old and their grapes are really good. And so instead of letting the oak carry the wine, they're letting the grapes carry the wine. In other words, they're not overpowering their grapes with aging it in oak. They're letting their
Correct. Like on this Cabernet, they're only doing 16 months in the combination of the oak. Yeah. So no, you're exactly right. I mean, they're in the.
That's nothing, right?
Right. They're in the perfect area. They've got the perfect southern hills right there of Livermore Valley. I mean, they're right there for growing these grapes, and so yes, the grapes. I mean, of course, the winemakers have put a ton of effort into it and making sure that they preserve the essence of the grape and keep it what it is, which I think has been fantastic that they do that and that they know what they're doing on that end, because like you said, they could overpower it with too much oak and then it would just, I mean, it would almost ruin
another Cabernet, right?
Exactly. So it's phenomenal what they've done there. Heavy. It is. The cab is, it's the bottles or the cab? Either way, yeah. But yeah, no, I think that's an excellent point, Bar, is that they don't overwhelm it with oak. They don't overwhelm it in that sense. Fermentation process is done very well. I mean, again, they are a 5th generation family. They know what they're doing. They've got just fantastic grapes, fantastic location to grow these grapes. And it's phenomenal. I love this winery in itself. And that's why I was really excited to do a single vineyard. I haven't done that before. My tastings usually mix it up, but it's exciting to do a family vineyard who knows what they're doing, grows great grapes, knows how to produce them, knows how to make them, and I love these wines so much. So glad you guys were able to taste and enjoy as well.
Well, one of the challenges at Bistro when it comes to buying wine is, yes, it's very easy to put really good wine on the shelf, or what people think is really good wine, or whatever direction they want to go. What's difficult is to find really good wine for under $20, and also try to find stuff that's not flooded in the grocery stores. So Wente really presents an amazing selection of wines with what we are having today and what we've what also other wines that are available from Wente. To be able to get this is just to get these wines for this price that are, as far as I'm concerned, quality grapes quality made. Love goes into this wine. You can taste it from the Chardonnay to the Merlot to the Cab. I feel like I can taste the love.
Yeah.
This isn't a conglomerate that is throwing out grape juice. This is wine made by an awesome family, made by people that obviously love what they're doing. They're consistent. I remember having a Wente Merlot 4 years ago, and it's obviously flavors change, but it's stayed consistent. The quality stayed consistent. To be able to get a bottle like this for $15 is amazing, and it's a struggle. I mean, it can really be a struggle. We've brought in wines that are $30 a bottle, and they're not really that sellable or that great. We've brought in wines that are, the $15 to $20 mark that just, isn't all that great, or we find those gems. And I think we've done a really good job, along with what Kit used to do with Marissa, with our other wine reps, trying to find wines like this for under $20 that are affordable for the average person is a feat, but it's also feels really good when we sit down and do something like this.
Just to let Nicole know, it goes really good with Dove chocolate instead of cheesesteak.
There you go. We'll take that too, because a lot of people got chocolate at home.
I told you it tastes good with chocolate. Good job, Sherry.
Hey, Derek.
You guys, you have all of these wines in stock, I'm assuming.
This is
Yes. So whatever you order, everything on this list we can get for you next week, and they're all in stock. The only one I actually don't have in stock right now on my down below list where I put other Wente wines available is the Wente Vineyards Morning Fog Chardonnay.
Okay.
I mean, you haven't tasted that, so but if you're interested in it at the moment, I'm out of that. But everything else we've got.
Okay,
Well,
so
we've
we can call
don't-
you if we want to order.
Correct. Call and then you will get it next Wednesday when I can bring up a truck of wine.
Perfect.
What about if some of us wanted to go together and get a case? What a case.
Call your friends up, and you guys have until. So if you order with Eric anytime from now until next Tuesday this coming Tuesday by 2 p.m. would be great.
Okay.
I have a lot of friends that drink wine.
Yeah, perfect. No, none of these sheets are there. You can take a
Eric,
picture.
can I say something real quick?
Come
Hello?
in. Hello? Hi.
What's up, Jim?
Am I live? Hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Here's what I wanted to say. Eric, I've sent you a couple of private notes and ordered some wine. We've ordered some wine tonight. And, we're going to lay some of that down, and we're going to be thinking about you guys 5 years from now, some period of time from now, about this event that you created, which will be special. This is a special experience that we're all enjoying tonight. And, we all have lots of things on our mind and people on our mind. We've lost people to this experience that we're all going through right now. So I would just encourage everybody, don't wait. Use the chat. Send a note to Eric.
Order up.
Order now. There's no reason to wait until next week.
Thank you.
So,
order some wine.
Use the chat, or you're more than welcome to call. I love hearing people's voices.
Most importantly, I thank you, Jim, for that, and we are sorry for your losses. This has been a tough time for all of us, and especially more for some. And so we just appreciate you guys being here. This was our first virtual wine tasting, and I think it's exciting to see everyone's faces and have fun and get to talk about everything. So cheers to you guys.
I think this is a great time for a cheers.
Well done.
Cheers.
Empty.
So, Jim, I have a question for Jim.
Yeah, we don't have to go off yet. It was just a cheers.
So, Jim, if you're in 5 years, are we all invited to your house to drink wine?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what, Terry? Absolutely. I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
COVID-27.
Oh, no, he'll wear pants,
And
I promise.
I'm a man of my word. I am going to mark this date down. I will reach out to Nicole, who is the purveyor, the host, and the knower of all things. And I will get each and everybody's contact information.
And we will reconnect.
And we will send an invite out. I don't think we're going to wait 5 years. That's a long time.
Because we'll never lay wine down that long, trust me.
Maybe we should do it in 1 year. Yeah.
1
We
year.
should do it in 1 year. So it's
Excellent.
It's April 24th. It's my ex-wife's birthday. I can remember that.
Oh,
Next year at this time.
I think we need.
Well, I will throw out there too.
Are you
Today
going to
is
slap
our-
him, Maddie?
I will throw out there. I'm going to say a
Just
quick happy birthday to our daughter MJ. She turned 14 today.
We sang to her today.
Oh, yes.
Jim, I lay down a challenge. Let's all buy a case and we will
You
bring them
guys,
to the
good
opening
luck
of the
with that.
Ponderosa Center.
Ooh.
And I would love to toast Nicole, who put this all together for us all.
Hey, Nicole.
Thank you. Realize it, and she's
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you,
the
Nicole,
best
very
thing
much.
Ponderosa Center could ever ask for.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, guys. And listen, today is the day that we celebrate Idaho Gems, which is our Idaho small businesses. And it is so awesome that you guys are supporting one of our amazing local small businesses in town who has been here for a long time for us. So thank you so much. Every Friday from now on is going to be Idaho Gems Day. So buy a gift certificate, buy something local, get takeout food, whatever you can do to support local businesses. And this is our contribution to that. So cheers to everyone.
Cheers. I don't want people leaving yet. Let's make sure we.
Don't leave, we're not done.
Yes.
Yes, I know Joan was trying to get on. Joan, did you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to thank everyone on behalf of the Ponderosa board. Sherry is the chair of our board, and it's the way that we're trying to connect with our community in this time when we realize it's not appropriate for us to be raising money at this time because there are more needs that are more urgent at this point, more pressing. But we want you to remember us when this horrid thing is over, and we are trying to support our family and demonstrate our community family and demonstrate how we can all come together in a meeting like this. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you guys, yes.
Hey, and I want to thank Eric and Marissa for putting on this super venue. This is amazing.
Thank you.
We should do this more often.
No, this is a great group. This is a great group collaboration, and you know what? Regardless of what happens and what goes on, I think we could see more of this. And it's
God, I hope not.
more of us communicating and having wine.
But if we have
Eric, I have an idea. We could do a workout class. We could do workout and wine. I could do a workout class, and then we could do wine.
Karen, we'll set it up. Karen, call me. We'll set it up, okay? I promise.
Keep that Carrie on mute, please.
Available for the wine. The workout, I'm guarantee.
Thank you guys so much.
Can we have chocolate?
Look at all these
Carrie on mute.
All right, so getting back to the wine. Marissa has done a great job presenting these three wines. This was a process with Marissa and I to figure out which wines we wanted to present for today. Let's kind of start off with, does anybody have any other questions about the wine, the process, Wente, the idea of a wine tasting? Does anybody have any questions or possible? We're even open for
We'd love to hear
the next step,
yeah.
the suggestions. How is the food?
I have two questions.
Yeah.
The first question is, you would prefer in terms of the way we should order a case of wine, would you prefer us calling or sending you an email? What's best for your business? And then the other question is, when is the next one?
Okay, so first, as far as ordering the wine, I'm seeing the Zoom group chat, which I can see, and I'm taking notes on that now for people that are throwing in notes to order wine. I just don't know if, when this meeting is over, I don't know if I have access to this group chat. So if I don't see an order, I might miss it. So right now, I've got orders down.
You will, you're recording, I believe. It says up in the top corner, so you should have access afterwards.
I believe Nicole is recording.
Let me just call the guy.
It says, it's on the top left corner, it says that it's recording. That means that you should afterwards, the recording should save somewhere and you should be able to access your chat and see you're taking notes, but you should be good for.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and chime in on that because this recording is done through Nicole's our admin, so it's on her computer mainly. So I would say for Eric, it'd be easiest if you did emails or phone calls to Bistro 47.
Got it.
Got it.
So just so everyone knows, I am recording this, and I'm gonna clean it up, and it's gonna get posted on the Ponderosa Center website. If anyone wants to go back and hear a little bit about the wines, the information will be available. But I do recommend that if you want to order something, call Bistro 45. Their number is 634-4515, or you can reach them via email. Bistro McCall, is that Bistro 45 McCall at gmail.com?
Yes. Correct.
Bistro 45 McCall at gmail.com, and place your orders. So order with them directly. And I'm so glad that everybody wants to order stuff. That's awesome.
And you guys, the appetizer plate was fabulous, and it is
fabulous.
Everything's
So
gone.
good.
Great.
I also
So my question is,
enjoy being in the room with all of you. Yeah. It's really fun to feel like we're all together again. So thank you guys. This has been awesome. I'm super excited for the next one. Yeah. This is definitely happening again. You have no choice.
you guys. I am
Really excited. It's been really fun to see everyone and hear hello.
So the
I am curious, as this is my first virtual wine tasting, I know computers can cut in and out. Were you able to hear my information?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did it
well.
cut out? Did it
Awesome. And for our first one too, I think for like a first like virtual wine tasting, and
It
figuring
was
out.
good.
Okay.
And Carrie Hayes is not wearing any. Carrie's not wearing pants. That's what she told me. She's not wearing pants in this thing. Oh,
Hey, Eric.
damn it.
Damn it.
Okay, Bar, I am showing people your text.
Is wearing a skirt.
I have a question.
The answer to the other question, as far as when is the next one, we're not sure yet. I don't want to saturate this idea, but at the same time, we might look at next week or in 2 weeks.
Oh, maybe 2 weeks.
I was gonna say next week. I mean, it's not like it's not like we're not doing this every day.
Here's
So
the weekend.
we
How
might
about
as well
breakfast?
feel it for a purpose.
Hey, I'll chime in on that as far as when the next one will be. We're definitely already talking about it. We're also talking about maybe doing a beer tasting too. So if you're a beer lover, do the same kind of thing, beer and appetizers. But I think that the Ponderosa Center, so this idea came out of wanting to do something for the community during this time. And this is a way for us to socially gather, but physically
And get us drunk.
come up with lots of different ideas. And we have many more things that we're going to be doing, but these things I think can continue year round all the time. You know, we have some times during the year that the weather's icky and nobody wants to hang out on the patio. It's not quite enough room in Bistro. This is something we can start doing during those downtimes of the year. So it's really exciting to have all kinds of new ideas and new technology put in front of us for us to figure out how we can be together without actually being together. And I think that we're just going to continue having lots of fun stuff. So go like our Facebook page, like Bistro 45's Facebook page. You're going to get lots of information. We'll continue to put out event notifications. Cheers. If you have any ideas, send me an email, admin@ponderosacenter.com.
Hey, Nicole, you know, before the the COVID-19 world. I had some clients that were in the wine venue, and they were talking about, you know, creating virtual dates where people could go online and they could get groups of people together and all of that. So, you know, I think we really should and could divorce this from this notion of, oh, we're doing this because of COVID-19. We can just do this because it's cool and it's fun, and we could keep doing it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a great point, Tim. I think that our situation with COVID-19 has just made us think outside the box, and it doesn't have to continue being about COVID-19, but it continue being just about gathering in a way that everyone can do it. And you know what? Drunk driving's not a good thing either. So it's really nice that everyone's home and can really enjoy the wine.
Hey, who you calling drunk?
That is totally perfect. Hey, Nicole, I just want to point out too, so this summer, for all that don't know, we have a brand new venue that's coming online this summer. It's called The Terraces. It is going to be where Depot Park is right now. And there will be an opportunity for all of us to gather together before we actually have the Ponderosa Center. And after we are out of hibernation, that's what I'm calling it, not quarantine, we're in hibernation until summer, we will have a chance to meet there and gather. And so this could be a wonderful event after we actually have the terraces up and running this summer. And all of us can get together and enjoy each other in person. I'm really looking forward to that moment in time.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Well said.
Is there a date for that, Sherry? Sherry, is there a date for that?
But Carrie?
Is there a date for the opening of the terraces?
We are going to be working on it right away as a board. Just of course put stuff in my path. So we're going to be looking at, we were very hopeful to open for the 4th of July. We actually have Nicole, I can't remember the name of the band, but it is a band that was coming to join us on July 4th, along with I've got Curtis Stigers on the mind right now.
I'll jump in, Sherry. So we did have plans to for the 4th of July to be our first big public event. With the current situation, we are sort of revamping some plans and working with the different bands and groups that we're going to be coming. We hope, I'll keep my fingers crossed on this, the group that was coming is the 25th Army Band. So they're the military band that's been around since 1932 of Gowan, and they have multiple different individual bands, and then as a 29-piece group, they play patriotic music. So we were going to be having them in about 4 different sections playing patriotic music leading up to the fireworks, and having some other bands, and then our talent show went coming back to play again on the stage during July 4th. So we'll keep you guys posted. Because of current situation, we're refinalizing plans with people. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we know that there will be some sort of event happening 4th of July.
I can't wait. That just gives me goosebumps thinking about watching the fireworks this year with some patriotic music in the background. That is exactly what our country needs right now, is to come together as patriots and celebrate each other and celebrate our future together. We all need to come out of this and actually feel like we're America again and everybody's doing the right thing and fighting for our future. So I absolutely look forward to that moment in time when I can join you all at the terraces, and we are going to have one big party at the end of all of this.
And Sherry, I saw a little layout of what the terrace is supposed to look like. It looks really nice.
Thank you.
Really
we have a tab on our website, so ponderosacenter.org, and you can click on the terraces and see a digital rendering of what we're planning, which is an expanded stage from what's down there now, with lighting and sails and just a generally improved. And it's going to be a great space that people can rent out for parties and events and weddings, and we can have public events there. We have a nonprofit rate. It's 50% of the rate on every day of the week for nonprofits, because we're a nonprofit as well, and we want to support our community and having plenty of events that help raise money for the causes that we all hold so dear. So
nice.
Got it.
Well,
And
guys,
our community
this was
deserves something to celebrate. Our community is going to love this space together, and we were going to have many community events there. Very much looking forward to it.
Yes.
it's going to be exciting. Hey guys, I mean, to see this turnout was so amazing. The support again for our community, support for Ponderosa Center, Bistro 45, just BRJ. This has just been awesome. And
BRJ is a small business in itself, so BRJ, I know, will love to say we really appreciate this. We
love Marissa.
Well, thank you, Gary. I appreciate that as well. But yes, we're not a big business. We're a small business, so this is huge for us and huge for Bistro and huge for Ponderosa Center to do this for all of us. Again, going back to supporting small businesses and local businesses, and you know, I am a local working for a small business, 2 small businesses, and it's just fantastic that we had this turnout, and I hope it was worth your while. I wanted to give you guys some good information. So if you do have any questions, please ask me. If you have any feedback on how we could make this better, please tell us. This was our first go around, so we'd love to hear more if you have it. But otherwise, thank you guys so very much for all of this.
I think we need
cheers. I want to say thank you. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Ponderosa's doing.
I love it. This was the screen before everybody was logging on.
Oh, there's Eric going back to those before there.
I know, they've gotten big. But guys, thank you. Nicole, thank you. Marissa, thank you. Tracy, thank you for helping put everything together today. This was awesome.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much, everyone. Bye. Great.
Marissa, you know, I have to teach online on Zoom all the time now, and this is the best experience on Zoom that I've had.
Good.
Awesome.
Well, that's good to hear.
I gotta do wine when I'm teaching from now on.
Sounds good. We'll be there.
Even at 10 in the morning.
Nice job. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you guys
Awesome,
so
guys.
much.
Thank
Have
you.
a fabulous night.